Hello, everyone. We will start shortly. It's good to see you, Brent. Jeremy.
Good morning.
Morning. I don't think we have a note taker yet, but I'm going to ask you, Jeremy, not to volunteer to give. You're amazing at taking notes, but I'm going to see if somebody else also volunteers. However, I'm not telling you what to do because, this is open source.
Hello.
Hey, Matt. Welcome.
Just hinting and putting social pressure on.
I'm trying to figure out who to volunteer for that. Yes. All right, welcome. We'll wait. Oh, we don't really need to wait too much longer. Let's see. We do need to move some things to vote, so it'd be good to see a few more TOC members here. Thanks, Dems. Jeremy, Ricardo, Emily, Kevin. All right. We'll go ahead and pull up the slide.
Do you want to share or do you want me to share?
I found it, so I'll try to share. Okay. Let's see if I'm sharing the right screen. Here we go. Okay. Usual. Our LF. All right, let me move this. Sorry, everyone. There we go. Okay, our LF antitrust policy. Remember, there are industry competitors here, and really we conduct with the Linux Foundation all the activities in accordance with applicable antitrust and competition laws. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We should not have any open votes. After today's meeting, we most likely will. So TOC members, please remember to vote if there are any open after today's meeting. Okay, really quickly, let's do some updates before we get to our project reviews today. Let's see, Ricardo Rocha, are you here right now? I don't see you. Okay, we'll get an update from him async. Emily, I think Emily may.
I'm here.
Okay, do you have an update on the Cube Armor application?
Yes, I am waiting on confirmation from the Cube Armor project regarding one item that they contested in the due diligence status. I think it was just wasn't clear in the original messaging. So still waiting on them. I've checked in with them and I'm hoping to hear back before I go out on medical leave. But if not, I will try to monitor the situation and keep you all updated as things progress. But right now, just waiting on the project to get back.
Okay. Quick on Dragonfly, we're still in active discussions with Dragonfly. Right now, we're reviewing the we're reviewing a number of our items in their repo, namely their release processes. Thanks. Coffee's still kicking in. Okay. I will add that comment. We've also added Alex to shadow on this due diligence, so thank you, Alex. All right, Knative. Jeremy or Lynn, would one of you like to provide an update?
Yeah, I added an update, I think maybe a few days ago. So we actually met Jeremy and I met the Knative team last week. and we level set them on the timeline, the process. I believe we already started the due diligence doc, collaborate between us. So we've given them a bunch of suggestions so far. Jeremy, do you want to add the interview perspective you've been driving with the tab, or anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we haven't scheduled any of the adopter interviews yet. I made a second call for anyone from the tab to join us. Do we have a better process for engaging tab members for adopter interviews other than asking in the TOC tab channel we have?
Not yet, but this came up on Monday on the tab call.
Okay.
And if I recall, someone was interested in helping with Knative.
Okay.
I have to go back and look at the notes.
Okay, I can go take a look at the notes if I think they're available probably, and I'll try to reach out to that person, or they can reach out to me.
Okay, the Slack, do you have a Slack channel for that one already?
Yes, that's the channel we've been collaborating with the Knative team on scheduling, raising issues for them to resolve what we discover on the due diligence process.
Thank you.
And I believe Bob is in there, and whichever else you ask us to include are also in there from Linux Foundation.
Rion. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Lynn. Perfect. Okay, case serve, Facila or Kevin, would you like to update?
Yeah, so Facila and I are working on reviewing their basically the checklist answer, and currently we have some fundings about their project governance, and also we got the feedback from the tech contributor strategy. One of the issue was that they are using some of the template from a general LF project. So we are asking them to change that. And also, Facila started looking at the security part. We will provide the update on the issue, I think, after this meeting.
Awesome. Okay, Lima, Chad, or Ricardo? I don't think Ricardo's here still. Is
I just
Chad?
joined.
Oh, thanks, Ricardo. Would one of you like to give an update on Lima and then retrospectively perhaps Metal Cube?
We did, at least from my side, we didn't start Lima.
Okay.
Metal Cube, Machine, HD, Helsinki, and just met them as well. There's some of them on here, so I'll wrap it up this week for public comment.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, and open telemetry, DIMS or Emily?
I haven't talked to Emily about this yet.
Yeah, Dims and I have not gotten together on it, and
No.
I'm not sure that we'll be able to do that before I'm out for an extended period of time. So, Dims, let me know how you want to handle that.
Yeah, let me talk. I'll ping you by end of this week.
Throwing it out there just to think about is that since we put Alex on as shadow for Dragonfly, he would be available if you all are amenable to move to open telemetry. But talk about it amongst yourselves. And I don't want to speak for you also, Alex.
I thought that would be fine.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for going through that. Ricardo, you did ask about triaging the new items. I know a project asked. Let's assign those for the next meeting. Let's get through some of the work items now, and then we'll assign triaging for the others in another meeting. Okay.
Nope. Matt has his hand up.
Okay, I can't, for some reason, my Zoom isn't. Matt, Go ahead.
I was just gonna say for the open telemetry one, if you guys need extra cycles or eyes, Allo Leader or I'm sure I would be happy to engage.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Okay. All right, let's go back to all right, so for all our triaging right now, I'm going to move that to later in the call. Let's get through the project health reviews. And then as we have time, we'll go back and review the TOC work board. Okay, so Dems, do you want to lead the project health review?
Yeah, I can call on people for sure. Yeah, let's open up the Carvel project. So Carvel has been a project from erstwhile VMware, now Broadcom. We haven't been able to get updates from them. I don't know exactly what is happening. They are not responsive on Slack. And Renu, I believe, has switched employers as well recently. I don't know about CPP for Life if they are still with Broadcom. There is some activity in the repositories, but it feels like it might be single vendor project at this point, where some folks from Broadcom are working on a few things, but it is mostly for their own use. That's what it feels like to me. So I guess we have to. I don't know how to do this right now. Like, do we have this health project open for a while? Do we just get started on archiving them, or like how do we handle this? Like, I'm happy to send more communications out to see if we can get one more round, to see if I can raise anybody who is actually filing PRs and stuff. But that's what we can do right at this point, I guess.
Have Emily first and then Bob.
I think at this point, because we've made a number of documented attempts to engage the project, I think we start the archival process, because there should be a request that goes out to the adopter ecosystem to understand if there's reliance on this, as well as potentially do a call for maintainers. But I did have a question about whether or not the current activities within the project indicate that they are still following their governance, because even if we put a call out for maintainers and we do get interested individuals, we need to ensure that the existing maintainers are willing and capable of onboarding those individuals to support the project back to health. And I think that's the biggest question that I have before we go down the formal archiving path, is getting better clarity and resolution on that piece.
Yeah, I agree with you, Emily. If some folks in the leadership positions there are still around to bootstrap new people in, or something like that, then that will be the ideal. I'm happy to take this back and like try one more time and see where it goes.
I was,
Go ahead, Bob.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, there definitely does seem to be activity in terms of commits and things like that.
Right.
And looking at the like LFX dashboard, there's one person that's fairly active. I posted their name in Slack. Let's see, but yeah, it is mostly Broadcom and then Red Hat in terms of contributions for the last quarter.
Thank you, Bob. Or, I mean, Alex. Sorry.
I was just going to say, just looking at the repo, this is one of those where there are a bunch of sub projects that are part of like the Carvel ecosystem, and like some of the sub projects do seem to be active. Like one of the sub-projects had a release in March, for example. Although it was like a small amount of activity, but I'm kind of wondering if you know, maybe one of the sub-projects becomes the lead going forward, and you know, either becomes a sandbox in its own right or whatever. So there, I think we need to get that clarity potentially.
Yeah, Alex, we need to be able to talk to somebody. That's the
Right,
problem.
right.
If we are not
Yeah.
able to talk to anybody, then there is not much we can do, right?
Emily?
Agreed.
Emily?
So given Alex's rather keen observation associated with this project, I think the path for reaching back out to understand what the current state is, are they following their own governance still? Engaging each of the sub-projects if they have independent maintainers that are not on the overarching project themselves to kind of give them a heads up of the situation. It might be that they know some folks and can kick them into talking to us, or at least might be willing to step into a maintainership role and bring the overall project back to health. But this might be a situation where we needed kind of like focus, bring everybody in, give them the lay of the land, either archive the project outright or break up the project into smaller ones that we believe are going to reach graduation level type of adoption. So there's a lot of different ways that this can go, but unfortunately, Dims is right. We have to be able to talk to someone or some groups of people to understand the future of this.
Other quick question: was a health issue actually created in their GitHub repo?
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen one on their side.
We should be able to do that, and then that should hopefully spark folks paying attention. Although the most recent open issue that's still open is from February of this year.
Yeah. So here is what I'll do, right? I will try to rustle up the GitHub IDs, mailing list, and like find their emails for the folks, and send some comms out in their mailing list, Slack channel, open up an issue, and try to get somebody to talk to us, set up some time to see who shows up from them. And if nothing works out, then I'll give an update back to the TOC, and then we can continue from there. Does that sound good?
Jeremy has his hand up first, and then otherwise it sounds good.
Yeah, I'm looking at their Slack channel, which is on the Kubernetes Slack right now, and it looks like it's fairly, I mean, it's got traffic in it. And it looks like the person that was identified as the highest contributor was responding to things as of yesterday. There was a question on Friday about the YTT release, which is one of the subprojects, not happening correctly. And he responded there. So I think maybe trying to reach out on their Slack, which is on the Kubernetes Slack, is probably a really good way to get some engagement from them.
Sounds good, Jeremy.
Thank you.
And I have it open right now, so I'm happy to ask if they would engage with us, if we would like to do that.
Please, Jeremy. Sure.
Okay.
Can you link that issue,
Yep.
Jeremy? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, Captain. This one, the project reached out. Actually, I'm unclear whether Thomas is from the project. Dems, you were looking at this one.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where we ended up there. They said they moved their activity to another one, but after that, I haven't poked at it.
Okay. Would somebody like to create an issue? Oh, Emily, go ahead.
Just looking at this one real quickly, do not have the same history that Dims does on it, but it sounds like the project just simply switched the repos where their main work is actually happening. So it might just be for us to update our project health information, dashboards, URLs, linkages, and encourage the project to communicate back out to its adopters and community which one is the correct one, so that it's very clear that kept in is actually lifecycle toolkit instead of kept in moving forward.
Would somebody like to reach out to the project to see if they will do that? I know Dems was working on this one, but any other TOC member can chime in and take this one on.
I can do it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna.
You two can fight over it. Okay, Emily, I'll add Emily. Oops, not me. Emily. Thank you.
There's a lot more, Alex, so don't worry.
There.
Oh no, I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right, Pravega. This one, so Dems,
I have to page back lots of things I've swapped out of my head.
this one seems to still not have, let's pull up its LFX super fast.
So it looks like the commitments to the open source project have slowed down since maybe last November, which is disappointing because it is a very, very mature project in terms of both being a cloud native message bus / streaming / key value store. Very, very, very similar to NATS in some ways. And I'd really like to get a bit more detail from them as to whether they're going to continue working on this or whether they're just going down a commercial route, because it's such a mature project that it would be a shame to lose them.
Alex, would you like to
Look-
take this one? I had this one. Go ahead, Bob.
Yep.
Looking at the activity, like there was one commit in February, but there's been nothing at least for the last quarter.
Yeah. We
Then
we need to understand what's going on. It's possible that this was being sponsored by Dell, and it's possible something happened to the commercial
Yeah.
version of the project or something.
yeah, they've had 3 commits in the last year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Steeler, this one, Bob, I believe this one can move to a vote for archive.
Yep. If you want, just type /vote and that will kickstart it.
Perfect. Trickster. We were just looking at Trickster. Reached out to
Did we ever get the meeting scheduled with this project?
reached out to him to get that scheduled.
Okay.
TBD.
For what it's worth, the sort of in one of the replies, the maintainer mentioned that they would be getting back to work on it in March, and it does seem like there's a lot of activity since March. So it looks like it's 38 commits in March, 49 in April. It looks like they've picked up work again after some hiatus.
We'll come back and give an update after we talk to you, James. Open ELB. Oh, so Open ELB, this one, when I looked at it, it still didn't look like there was a lot of activity, even though they put roadmap into the issue. So it's still unclear whether,
So they've had three commits since 3 commits in April, but up until that point, nothing since October of last year. So I'd be
So-
curious what those 3 commits are. If it's just like Dependabot,
right?
otherwise I would say like probably that one's up for a vote.
It did look like it was dependable. All right, I'm just going to, is everybody okay with opening for a vote?
Actually, looking at
Yeah, Emily? So really quickly.
Have we reached out to the project to more in depth understand why there's continued delays in their contributions back to the project? Like I'm reading through the comments. I see their future plans. It doesn't seem like there are dates or time estimates associated with them, which makes it very difficult. It could be this year, it could be 5 years from now when they intend to do these kinds of things. They mentioned resource reallocations and insufficient community engagement, but I'm not seeing any evidence of rectifying that. So I don't know if this is a invite the project to a TOC meeting to have a more focused discussion on what does it mean to be healthy in its ENCF, or if we then go down the path of reaching out to the end users and asking them, are you using this project? You need to contribute to this project and show up in the community. They're having these kinds of issues and go that path before actually moving through vote and archival, because this just seems incomplete, if that makes sense.
just a quick thing, like they have had like actual code not Dependabot stuff going on lately, like even one as of like 15 hours ago.
This project is mainly from I think the two people that chimed in. One is from Beijing, one is from Chengdu. So I think we should request Kevin to go talk to them. Kevin and Lynn or Lynn.
Yeah,
So
I'm
easier for them
definitely
to-
happy to help.
Yeah.
And to Emily's note, I don't believe we have an issue created in their repo, and that would help to track against if they are creating these roadmap items within their repo. So thank you for following up on that, Kevin.
So just correcting myself, I was looking at the wrong project. I was looking at the previous one, Trickster.
Thank you, Kevin. Oops. Teller.
Yeah, their reply looks unclear to me for the next step, and I took a look at their activity. Seems no activity, even things our last time raising the healthy issue.
So looking at the comments, it looks like one of the maintainers switched the project from Go to Rust, and then most of the contributors dropped off. So it's a pity to see it go, but it probably should go to an archive vote.
And there's been zero activity since June of last year.
Yeah, I think they should go to a vote, and if somebody wants to revive it, from archive, then it's
They can
something.
come back.
Yeah, they can do it later.
They've been in, for 3 years, they've been onboarding,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Hey, Devs, go ahead.
So one feedback we got last time was like, what is the vote for, right? So I think we should probably add some context on what the vote is for after we finish the call. Karina.
Thanks, James. For everybody that's here, the vote is to vote for archive. Okay, DevStream. Kevin, you were looking at DevStream.
Yeah, last time I reached out to the maintainers, and they also one of the maintainer replied about their future plan, but with no time frame. So I'm thinking maybe we should double check with them again if they do have a plan that with the recent date, for bringing updates to the project. Otherwise, we should maybe consider voting for archive.
Thanks, Kevin. Devs, did you have oh, Emily, you have your hand raised.
I'm reading through some of the comments associated with this, and it seems to be very single vendor heavy, particularly in their communication about what it is that they're doing. Like there's a comment here about building an AI-powered workflow engine recently and will soon open source the code on DevStream.io DevStream, which is a little odd to me and shows that they're not necessarily doing community-driven development. It sounds more that it's the company that's doing development, dumping it back into an open source project. So I want to kind of raise that as a different issue associated with health, and might be worth having a more focused conversation with the maintainers around whether or not they should stay in CNCF or we archive the project and they can fork it and do their open source stuff elsewhere.
And thank you, Emily. I have Kevin, I have you right now, but is there somebody else that would, this does look like a, let's see. Kevin, do you want to stay on this one?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Thank you.
One like this one does definitely look unhealthy, needs to be followed up on, but at least for sandbox projects, a lot of them will still be single vendor, and it is until they get closer to incubating status where they get start to bring in more people.
Don't disagree with that, but there is an expectation that when you join the CNCF that you're participating in open source within our community and fostering community innovation as well.
It's mostly just like when looking at this stuff and you see it's like predominantly single vendor, just to not blanket. You know what I mean?
I added in here that, so Kevin, when you talk to the project, to Emily's point, make sure to just discuss with them, whether the work is downstream first, upstream first. Is there a path to upstream first? Is there a path to stay in the CNCF, or to Emily's comments, whether they do want to stay in the CNCF? So thank you for taking that on.
Sure. I will check with them. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Murbridge. This one, it looks like move for archive, and the team agrees. As always, the TOC and the CNCF very much appreciate everybody's work that they put into these projects, and many times it's a labor of love, and this one looks like they just don't have the time to continue focusing on the project right now. So move to a vote unless anybody.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can add some background. So the Murbridge project was actually designed to work with the Istio at the early days, and the project maintainers, they no longer have bandwidth to contribute to Istio. So not surprising, they wouldn't have bandwidth to maintain Murbridge as well. Very sad.
Is there a possibility of this project moving into Istio? Is there?
I don't think the Istio maintainer would have bandwidth to maintain it either, because it's not a default option for Istio install.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn. All right, we'll move to a vote. Okay. The NATS project, this is one that has been talked about a lot, and it sounds like they're still in discussions with the CNCF and community engagement. And so for this one, we'll keep waiting and we'll wait for the CNCF projects team and LF to come back to us with an update on this health issue.
Do we, Karina, do we know what the current status is as of today? Can Bob, can you give us an update or?
The
Get an
current
update.
status, so there is a joint blog post put out, and Nats is donating the trademark to the CNCF. I believe the blog post is like linked at the bottom somewhere. Yep, there it is. And at this time, they have like they're committing to upstream. There's no real changes there, but there no current operating changes there. Everything else is kind of still being sorted out.
Okay.
The project apparently is having a community AMA tomorrow, according to the announcement. So
Are the CNCF folks going to be there on that AMA? Do we know?
I am not. Let me take a look.
Or is it just their own community?
It is their community.
Okay. So then the other question is, suppose things do get sorted out, then what is our obligation, or what do we need to do to engage with this project? Because at some point they did want to graduate. So what is the kind of process do we want to look at for this one? Like, do we wait for them? Do we reach out to them? Do we want to talk to them? What do we want to do here? Not to put everybody in a spot, but like where are people heads
So,
at?
Maybe should let Bob respond and then Emily first. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So like we like the CNCF projects team, like we're happy to work with them on developing a strategy ladder. The one thing I've said this in a few places, like the good thing that kind of that came out of all of this is that there's never been more interest, or never been more interest in people contributing to Nats. So if they can leverage this opportunity to actually, on ramp some people, trying and start people going up the ladder, it should make it a much more healthy project long term. Because the fact that they were predominantly a single vendor company was the main blocker the last time they applied to graduation.
Emily?
So a couple of things. it sounds like there's still some outstanding work that needs to happen with CNCF and Synadia to make sure that those action items are fully closed and resolved. Once those are done, we should be getting an update back either from CNCF or the project to let us know that those are complete. For us, we should probably make a determination of what they need to do to get ready for the next level. And that, to me, in my mind, sounds like a good opportunity for that contributor strategy sub-project underneath of the TOC to leverage NATS as a, here's how we build your contributor ladder, here's some recommendations for governance structure, and kind of like codifying that a little bit more for the project so they have a path back to not only health within the community, but also eventual graduation.
I'm looking forward to seeing that also. So, okay. We will come back to the NATS project when the CNCF gives us an update on that, as this CNCF is the one that opened up the health issue as well. Okay. We do have a few new items in the queue that we were looking through this morning. If anybody would like to take these on for further follow-up with the projects. Right now, I think it might be a good time, since we have a bit of time, is Bob and Dims, if either of you want to talk about what you go through to look up whether there are new projects to be added to this. The proactive, which is lighter weight. So Bob or Dims, I saw Dims, you came off camera too.
Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, so like proactively, there isn't a whole lot we can do unless someone like unless we hear things brought up and then we go reach out to the project. There will hopefully be some improvements coming in LFX that should give us a better view so we can see some of these changes, or have like one overview dashboard to be able to potentially see if projects are becoming unhealthy, similar to what was in open source before. For now, there is a like dashboard in DevStats. Yep, what Dim's just shared. If you want to click it, it's unwieldy, and doesn't like scrolling. It's basically one thing you have to scroll sideways quite a bit for. And
There is actually a toggle button too. So
oh, there is?
yeah, right at the top left. Can you bring it up, Karia?
So now y'all are finding out how much fun, there it is. Sorry, I had to find my meeting chat.
Oh, only show thank you. I did not see that checkbox.
Yeah, I also went to the right first time around.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Thanks for patience.
So only show
Top
inactive
left
projects.
Yeah, on the top left. Yeah.
Left.
So it's that little checkbox.
Below.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's
Bob, would you like to take over the screen?
The sharp top left corner of the table.
I'm gonna let y'all share. This is the only time I hop into Zoom, really, right?
okay.
There you go.
So it's right here. Only show inactive projects.
That makes it a lot easier.
And before I was scrolling sideways and looking at them. But yeah. And so from here, commits Dason, like Dason's last commit is the like general one, because this isn't looking at just the project's repo, but their entire GitHub org. So it really is zero activity, at least commit wise, there. And then usually from there, I will pop over to the like LFX Insights. And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna,
Yeah, exclaim or virtual kubelet.
yep. And you can get a little bit more information, but the thing that I will generally go to is, oh, it's the wrong one. Productivity. And, so this is the last 12 months. You can see there's been no real commit activity since December. So they did have new contributors before then, but it predominantly wasn't. And you can see here the last active date of some of the bigger contributors, December. And so that's kind of at least my like quick key indicators to look at, if the project is ready to be really bring about like a health issue and potentially archived. Because if they're not having any commits, then yeah, it's not a healthy project. There's lots of other metrics that can be used for leading up to that, but that's not necessarily ready at this point in time.
So with that, that gave me an opportunity to look at my Slack. And the Thomas from Captain Project, he did say just before this meeting that he couldn't attend, but request that it move to a vote to archive. So we will do that and ask him to also create an issue within the Captain repo saying that they're requesting it to be archived. So quick update for everybody.
I also pasted one more OSS Insight. So that's a decent one too. So between LFX and OSS Insight and DevStats is basically where we go to look for things, as well as the GitHub, the default charts that are there in GitHub. That's like the first pass, and then the second pass would be like peeking at their Slack or whatever else that they may have for communications.
Yeah, there's Slack, looking at the GitHub issues, mailing lists, any of that stuff, just to sort of like, is there activity going on elsewhere?
So for those of you wondering, we also use this information to, when we're doing a due diligence for a project. When a project applies for incubation or graduation. Okay, let me share my screen again, or unless Bob, you want to just share yours again with the project or with the health. There we go. I'm finding the right tab again.
Okay.
Oh, here I found it. I'll share again. I'm gonna sit here this weekend and just practice sharing. All right, here we go. For service mesh performance, would a TOC member like to take this one on for a project? Reaching out to the project and further review. Chad, do you have any cycles this week?
I am trying to catch up with Ricardo Lima.
Okay.
Let me look at my calendar and see. Well, we see if anybody else chimed in.
Okay.
I'll say like this one shouldn't be too bad. It's mostly just, opening an issue and trying to reach out to the project.
It should be less than 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Put me down.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
make it sound so easy, Karina.
It should be. And we can always walk through it next week too. All right. Thank you, Emily, for volunteering. All right. Vineyard, this one is similar to service. We just went through them all. So if somebody would like
Okay.
to volunteer.
You can put me down for that one. Emily, Xline was a storage project. I've been talking to the maintainer recently. So if you want, I'm also happy to pick that up, unless you have a strong preference.
I have no strong preference. All I did was create the issue in their repo with nice, pretty questions and linking back. So if you already have a good communication channel with the maintainers, I would recommend pointing them to the issue in their repo and asking them to chime in, or on ours, one of those two.
Sounds good.
Um, Hey, Bob, do I need to have the slash vote on just one issue, or can I do it within the comment or on one comment?
Oh, you can do it within one comment.
Okay.
It basically is a regex that looks over the entire thing, looking for slash vote.
Okay. Perfect. And if there's any volunteers to look at the other three and open issues, that would be great. Otherwise, we won't worry about them. The ones in the dev stats with the very obvious button that wasn't so obvious. Okay. All right. With 9 minutes, we're going to go look at the open TOC items really fast, TOC work items, see if there's anything that we can close out. Looks like there's some label issues for this board. We'll worry about that later. Okay. Oh, Ricardo, this one's been open for a while. This is still an important one. I'm wondering how we can make progress or who we did not bring this one up in the workshop at the Maintainer Summit. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, go ahead. Sorry. Emily.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emily. Sorry.
I will defer to Ricardo specifically on the items associated with this, but what I wanted to bring up was the TOC had an initiative. We attempted it twice last year and maybe the year before to put a call out to the tag co-chairs to nominate an individual who has done exceptionally well so that the TOC liaisons could write a letter of appreciation for that individual to share with their employers. I know that we've done that at least twice because I've written 2 of them. They're genuinely really appreciated by those contributors. In addition to that, we've also had the taggies as a mechanism for doing this level of contribution, although receiving the award has a different feel with employers, in my opinion, than a letter of appreciation. Those letters of appreciation allow us to directly tie their open source contributions into meaningful impact within industry and within open source more generally to show the advancement and innovation of their efforts towards improving the technology in the space. So that, in my mind, is more useful from a career growth perspective than just the TAGI awards. So I did just want to mention that here, that we've had 2 attempts in the past. We do have an outstanding program. There's probably a lot more work that needs to be done here.
Bob.
So one thing that might help with this a bit, it's not necessarily employer recognition, but with the way we're scaffolding and playing with initiatives and having, people's names essentially associated with the things that they're doing, that might be at least another useful form of recognition, because they'll literally have a list of things that they can reference that can go on their resume or, link their employer.
Going back to your comment and then handing off to Ricardo. Bob made a great comment about recreating this as an initiative idea. Emily, what you were just saying, that would be a great initiative for one of the sub projects. So if somebody would like to create an issue, otherwise I'll save it for later and then also create an initiative for that. Ricardo?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the idea of an initiative is really good. Yeah.
Karina, to make sure that we make progress on this one, does it make sense that underneath of the contributor strategy sub-project that this be pushed as an initiative as part of that on a regular cadence so that we're always doing it instead of point in time reminding ourselves?
That's a fantastic idea. I will edit my comment. I'm going to only assign myself to create that initiative. Okay. Tag ambassadors. This one was a fantastic idea from Leo that with the new structure, it would be good to figure out, perhaps not in today's meeting, but if somebody has ideas how to incorporate the ambassadors. We have been talking about the technical community groups, which may be a great area for ambassadors to be organizers and help identify areas of initiatives. If anybody has input or thoughts on that as well.
That sounds great to me. I think it would make sense to add it in here as a comment so we don't lose track. Make sure it happens. That also has the potential, since I believe ambassadors are required for community events like KCDs and Cloud Native Days. I think that's a great way for connecting those technical community groups with local and regional events as well. So there's a lot of benefits in doing that.
Okay, I'm still assigned to that one, so I'll create an initiative I'll figure out the right way to do that. Okay, we can,
I think we can close that one.
the ambassador one,
Oh, the shadow position, the next one, sorry.
we still need, we'll move this one to private and close out the better defining what the shadow position roles and responsibilities are. That's one thing that was a action item we still needed to follow up on.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we have 2 minutes. We got through a lot today. Next one is the restructuring. I know there's a number of tag leads here. The blog is supposed to be going out today. Any TOC members that want to finish reviewing that, the nominations are open. We forgot to start off the call with this. I didn't want to, distract any of us, but the nominations for chairs and technical leaders within the tags, that is open. So if you know people, please nudge them. If you yourself would like to be a chair, I am looking at a lot of your names and faces that hopefully you are already going to do this, but they are in the TOC repo under issues. You will see them as the most recent issues. Thank you again, Bob, for opening those. We were not going to do that until the blog went out. So as soon as the blog is published, then we'll link to that and send the email out as well as to all the Slack channels. So thanks, Dems, for mentioning that. Perfect. Are there any questions about that? nominations? You're excited to go put your name into the nomination issue? Thank you, Brad. Okay, we're looking forward to seeing all of those. So we only have 2 weeks. That closes out. And the day in May that I'm forgetting, do you remember, Bob? It's on the issue.
Not offhand. Give me one sec.
You have less than 2 weeks. Please go put your nomination today or this week. All right, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the next public meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Later.